Hello, viewers, and welcome back to another chapter read-through of My Hero Academia. And yes, I know it's Thursday, and yes, I know that Shonen Jump has also released their chapters for their issue this week, and not My Hero Academia, because My Hero Academia has decided to take a break. So today we're gonna finish off with the UA Culture Festival arc. There's only two more chapters to read through, actually, from volume 20. So, on the previous read through of the Culture Festival, we had our brawl between Izuku against Gentle, and Izuku came out triumphant, and Gentle is locked up behind bars, and we don't know what's going on with him right now. So hopefully we will be catching on him right now. So let's just get on with today's read through and yes, I am reading from volume 20 of the My Hero Academia, and there is a good reason for it, and I will get to it after reading through this chapter number 182, and I'll fully explain. If you know what happened when 182 came out, I'll talk about it at the end of this chapter read through. So we have right off the bat on chapter 182, we see that Aoyama's waiting outside with Izuku's costume, and I think he sees Izuku with ectoplasm coming in, and Aoyama starts speaking. Midoriya, you're late, and Midoriya responds to as he comes in with ectoplasm after his fight with uh with Gentle, and Midoriya says, Aoyama, I'm so sorry. What on earth took you so long? Why on earth do you look so beat up? And Midoriya lies. I tripped. I tripped. And Aoyama continues, You clumsy boy. Here, get changed. The others are waiting. And Midoriya says, Thanks. And Ectoplasm butts in. Wait, you're going on stage like that? Covered in dirt and scratches? How will anyone enjoy the show when they're worried about you? Go clean yourself up, there's still time. And we quickly cut away to the theater and we see Gentle Mike and Aizawa in a huge crowd, and they start a bit of a conversation. And Aizawa is holding onto Eri, according to in the volume. And Aizawa starts speaking. I don't know about this. And President Mike continues, Doubts? Over what? I'm hyped. And there's some muttering in the crowd. Nobody asked you. Get back to your post. And I think this is President Mike speaking again. I just want a quick look-see. And the show starts, and all the students are in a line in their uniforms. And I think someone's speaking? Can't really tell. And they say, There are many students in the audience in other departments and grades who aren't happy with UA. And someone blamed their frustrations on Class 1A. Those malcontents aren't here to have fun, they're here to criticize the performance. And we cut back to the upper sections of the theater, and we see Cellophane, Red Riot, and Tokoyama, Todoroki, sorry. And one of them's saying, I think it's fair to say they're not here for entertainment. We see the rest of the class just getting ready, and we see Momo speaking. A band? A dance squad? Sure, I bet they'll perform well. But it seems like they're just doing it for them. No, someone else in the some random woman. Never mind. Just in it for yourself. And we cut back to the beginning. They're just about to perform with Earphone Jack having remembered something. Kyoka, you should do what you want. And then Bakugo just butts in. Let's do this, damn it! We grab hold of UA. And we turn the page. And kill him with music! And he just slams the drums hard, causing them to explode. And most of these panels are just the band playing, and I won't say much. Chargebolt on guitar, Momo's playing the piano, Tokagiri playing bass. I can't remember exactly, it's been forever. And we see you go back to the upper stage with Todoroki and Red Riot, and Red Riot's comments, "What an explosive start." And Todoroki says, "We gotta be flashy to hook them." And everybody's performing. And I think Earphone Jack says this. Thanks for coming! Thank you for coming! And then boom! Explosion, pyrotechnics. And Tokugami is playing hard on the guitar. Got to make it grittier. And people are shouting, "Oh, this isn't bad." And we have Froppy continuing with her dialogue in her head. Now it's time for Aoyama and Midoriya to shine. A surprise, Eri's going to be at the festival. And we get a bit of a flashback to, I think, the previous night or something. I can't remember. And it's Midoriya speaking. She's been through much. So I was thinking this just might be just what the thing to cheer her up. We see Midoriya flying into the air with Aoyama, and everybody's dancing around. And we go back to the crowd, and the crowd comments saying they're in perfect sync. Midoriya and Laser Boy. Just can't say Aoyama. And we cut to Eri and Toga? No, not Toga, sorry. Millennium, I think? Here it comes. Ready? Oi. And then we turn to the flash next page, and Midoriya just tosses Aoyama into the air. And Aoyama's shooting lasers. And people are going to probably die. And the crowd reacts to a human firecracker. And I think Tailman, I can't remember, catches him. Oof. Oy. And he's just happy. And he just slides back on stage, and we see Tokugami saying almost time. And we cut to Midoriya, Froppy, and Uraraka, and Uraraka says, Deku? Us too. And we cut back to Eri for a bit. A big stunt over? So short. It's over. But look, over there. And we see Mineta just tossing balls. And we see Tentacruel, I think, grabbing them? Would they be stuck to him? Or maybe they made the costume that would the gloves to work for Mineta's hair. And we cut back to the crowd again. Is that it? Just a series of parlor tricks? And we go back to the upper section of the stage. And we see Red Riot saying, "Go over it, Shirokuri." Heck yeah, got it. Fish, 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 fish. And we see Shiroguri just talking to his animal friends. Now, my feathered friends, move those lights up, down, side to side. And and on the next page, we get a double splash page. I don't know, there's not much talking in this. It's just it's more visual because there's not much dialogue in this chapter because this is the band performance, so yeah, it's going to be a bit light, so yeah. And we see a lot of different things on this double page spread of all class 1A. And we see Bakugo still playing drums, and he says, "Here's the hook, you doofus. Knock 'em dead." And a lot of art here. Just a lot of art. Look, I'm just doing my best. So, just, just lot of art. This is a more of an artsy for Horikoshi for him to write. And next page we see Uraraka and Froppy, and Froppy's excited, saying, "Yeah." And Uraraka saying, "Who wants to have some fun? Put your hands up." And while Froppy's sliding along on Toko, um, Todoroki's ice, and Uraraka's using her power to lift people up into the air. And we see Mineta speaking, and he says, "Get out there, dance squad." And we see we see a funny bit with Red Riot just rubbing a piece of ice, and he's just saying, "Diamond dust." Bah! And everybody's having a lot of fun, just a lot of, yeah, whatever. Can't wait for the anime to adapt this eventually, maybe in season 4. But most likely, no, we're getting season 5. But and another page later we see, I think it's Charge Ball in the air playing guitar, and Uraraka's saying mid-air guitar, and Charge Ball just in the air just playing a wicked guitar solo. I can't really tell. And we see Pinky's just making sure everybody in the crowd is safe, and she's saying, "For our floating audience members, some tape to keep you tied down and safe. So we don't want people dying and crashing into the ground." And then we cut to Tenma, and he's just doing the robot, and he's pretty excited. Yeah. And the audience reacts to this. "That dude's stuck doing the robot." And we see Mineta with the girls, and he's at least he's trying to keep you know his balls in his place, and he's just saying, "My time has come." And we cut back to the main stage, and everybody's happy, and we get more thoughts of Earphone Jack speaking. "Mom, Dad, I want to be a hero." And we cut back to a flashback with to Earphone Jack talking to her parents. "I'm not going to be a musician. Sorry." And the parents just, her mom and dad are just looking at each other, and they're cool about it. And the father says, "Hey, what's there to cry about?" And she's just rubbing on her head. "You don't get it. I've been struggling with this all along. It's just that putting myself on the line to fight for others is cool. I've always admired what you do, Mom, Dad, but now the music you taught me is going to go to waste. Our family's so passionate about music, which why I couldn't tell you." And the father's being understandable, and he speaks. "Koya, you should do what you want. Your mom and I went with music 'cause that's what we loved. At first it was just cool and fun, and we were good at it. Basic stuff like that." And Earphone Jack's just, while doing this flashback, we see her playing a wicked guitar solo. And more of the flashback continues. "But the longer we pursued it, the more we realized the music we made could actually do something for others. In that sense, music and heroism aren't so different." And the whole crowd goes nuts. And on the next page, we get a awesome two panels, an awesome double splash page of earphone jack, and the art is really good on this. And we cut to the next page. The crowd is shouting, and we get a bit of a flashback to their training on the band. And we see Bakugo, I think. Stop stepping on my. Stop speeding up the tempo, dummy. Of course, it's gonna fall apart when you start show boasting. And your phone jack helping Bakugo. No weird ad blib tomorrow, okay? Bam, and he's just still playing on the drums and he's saying hypocrite. And we cut back to Eri with and she's having an inner monologue. Midoriya, sir, are you two watching Midoriya? Midoriya, Sir Night Eye? We see that all that fear and that was in Eri when we first saw Eri, and what you're gonna see in season 4. She went through a lot of dark crap with yeah, she's been through a lot with Overhaul, and you would learn what really happened for season 4 only. Yeah, she went through a lot, and you're gonna learn, yeah, it was pretty dark. And with that, she's finally washed away all that dark crap that Overhaul did. And for the first time, we see Eri happy. She's smiling and happy when all that fear just goes away. Yeah. And we have Maximilian. I can't remember his name, but I'll probably have to remember next time. And he says she's smiling. Yeah, she really smiling. And that's the end of chapter number chapter number 182. And before I start on chapter 183, that is technically the end of the Culture Festival arc. We only have a bit of a wrap up, is what these two chapters are, a bit of a wrap up. And so before I continue with chapter 183, we have to address the big elephant in the room. So when chapter 182 first came out a couple of years ago, I'm talking about the chapters online when we and the magazine. That during 182, I think around this time was a Golden Week. I could be wrong. I think it was during Golden Week, and Horikoshi was releasing a chapter during Golden Week, which is not is basically a week off for manga chapter writers. I mean, Oda took a day off that week, if I recall correctly, and yeah, people were no, I think everybody was doing a chapter, and they were doing their best to be finished. They were a bit rushed, if I recall correctly, and some of the artwork from the magazine and the online scans of 182 was kind of bad, like really bad artwork. It was like only rough sketches as far as I recall. Only like a few panels that weren't 100% finished. And by God, this volume makes up for all that muck up on Horikoshi's part, and the art is usually always good when Horikoshi does art. And in the volume, after the end of 182 before starting 183, he left a bit of a note with Jump magazine versus the graphic novel edition. And he wrote a letter in Japanese, but luckily we have some people who did this volume in English, so we can read the letter he wrote. And I'll show it to you. I can't get a real good copy on it in English for this section. So you're going to have to read it online or get the volume. But it reads as such. He starts addressing chapter 182. So Jump Magazine versus Graphic Novel Edition, and I'll read it. Chapter 182, this is all in Horikoshi's writing, and he says, this chapter was rough and sketchy when it came out in Shonen Jump, and I feel terrible about it, especially for the readers who follow the story via the weekly chapters. Of all the chapters for this to happen, you couldn't even tell what was going on in some of the spots. Yeah, we all suffered from that, and yeah, even I suffered a little when I was reading it. It's all fixed up for this book, of course, and I even added some additional bits and shuffled things around to better fit the original version. Jiro's close-up gets a double two-page spread for one. That's how I originally wanted to do it, so please think of this as an apology. So he did the double-page spread. He for the volume. He no in the scans and in the Jump magazine had he didn't get the way he wanted things, how he wanted it written. So this was I think this part was from the original Scan and Jump chapter. So yeah, he's apologizing, and for the addition, we got the double page spread for volume 20. This is kind of his vision how Horikoshi wanted it done originally. This was his original plan for this chapter, how it was supposed to go, but it happened on Golden Week, so yeah, you're long forgiven, Horikoshi. If you do watch this, you're long forgiven. And yeah, so let me continue with the letter. Uh, that's how I originally wanted to do it, so please think of this as an apology. Still, I like the version of Jiro I drew for the chapter in the magazine, so it's included below. And we get a little flavor text about Jiro's dad, and he says, "You should do what you want. Thank you." Jiro's dad, and earphone checks just in the drawing, just saying embarrassing. And yeah, you're long forgiven, Horikoshi. Yeah, we all do mock-ups all the time. Even I make a long list of mistakes that I do. And I do try my best to correct the issues that I go through when I do chapter readings or talking about playthroughs and let's play games. And yeah, I know the let's plays have been on hold for a while. I've been a little busy for a little bit, but hopefully either next week things should go back to normal. I know that I'm going to be a little busy, but just hold out and they'll come back eventually. So we got 182 out of the way, the chapter and the controversy and talking about what happened. So we're moving on to chapter 183. Everything's back to normal at this point. And chapter 183, this is the final chapter for the UA Culture Festival, by the way. I won't be reading anymore. Unless you guys want the next break to the next time we have a break in the chapter readings. Maybe I might do the Endeavor arc, maybe. Or I can do something else. I'll probably bring it up on the next break and pull up a poll and you guys can choose. So, right off the bat, we have chapter 183 Festival All Day Long. And we see the play of 1B, Class 1B, and we all know it's a giant plagiarism of all classic fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and etc. etc. Like, there's a ton of references of movies. And if I had to use the clip, I don't use the clips, jokes in these kinds of read throughs. I think I'm only going to do it for only the chapter readings for online. But I do like doing the jokes. I don't really know if the jokes really help or not. So and my memory's a bit foggy on the each. I only know Monoma, so I think we start out with Monoma speaking. My name is Romeo. Now hear me count Paris Phantom. Yeah, I can't keep it a straight face. Now hear me count Paris Phantom of Azkaban. I shall take back my Julie. You're just ripping off a lot of movies at this point. I'm surprised that Sam Jackson, Steven Spielberg, and all the directors aren't suing you. And we cut to, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's supposedly the villain, and I'm just speaking. But Romeo, what Obi-Wan told you about it? I'm sorry, this is full of plagiarism here. But Romeo, what Obi-Wan told you about your father, that he was the king of Gondor, that was a lie. Sorry. Oh my god, Horikoshi was having a blast doing this sketch. Alright. It's been a goddamn long time. This is a good joke. That he was the king of Gondor. That was a lie. I. And we see in the end, we do the whole I am your father. Like the whole Luke, I am your father. No! I don't know, Monoma's doing the episode 3 no. That everybody made fun to death. Or maybe they're just doing. Oh, oh god. I'm just. It's just too much. He's just doing the whole thing, and I can't believe Steven Spielberg hasn't made. Hasn't sued them, so we cut to after all that, and the audience are leaving, and they have their comments, and they're just, yep, just talking. Talk about the ultimate crossover event. That was nuts. It was kind of funny how they were into it. And we see Cellophane and Chargebolt just leaving, and they're talking about the play. Wish we could have seen Class B's play. That was just. How is it? We're we're gonna clean up the mess we made. And we cut back to Midoriya, and he's looking depressed. And what who's talking to is All Might, and All Might starts speaking. Being late wasn't the issue, but at least you picked up your phone. I ran out without it. And All Might's just continuing talking. Check your missed calls. You'll be shocked. And I think Cellophane talk both Chargeball and Cellophane's talking at the same time. Somebody's in trouble. And we cut back to Midoriya, and he starts speaking. I'm sorry for making everyone worry. And All Might continues. I got the gist of it from Ecto. And Ecto continues. Good job back there. And Bloodhound's kind of lurching forward towards Midoriya, and he's just like. And he continues. Don't go thinking what you did was right. The show didn't get cancelled because you weren't hurt too bad. And he's just making a thing, yeah, things could have gone worse. And when, and and he continues, but that doesn't make it okay. You're still a student here with only a professional license. When there is a fight, you rely on us. We're here to protect you, kids. And he continues, right. And Midoriya makes what right. And Hound Dog continues, wipe that gloomy look off your mug and get going. The festival's still on, so Have fun, damn it. And he just, I think, pimp slaps Midoriya, just flinging him away. And he continued, and we cut away, and Blood, Hound Dog, and All Might are still talking. And I think Hound Dog, I think we're hearing from Eri's group. Look, Eri, Midoriya came flying at us. Oh, you're here, Deku. And Hound Dog's just huffing and puffing while All Might continues. Thank you, Hound Dog. And Hound Dog just gets really iffy and just All Might. And I think he grabs him and he starts beating the living tar. Woof, grr. You're right, I was careless. Woof, woof. And Ecto just continues. You only forget how to talk when you're barking mad. Ah, and we cut back to Midoriya with the others, and Cellophane continues. From now on, you're known as Errand Boy, and we have Eri's group continues, and Maximilian continues. Hey, nice show, and Eri butts in. At first, the big noises were scary, but then everyone was dancing and jumping around. And then there was the flashy light, and you disappeared, Midoriya, and you got all cold, and it got all cold like whoosh, and the lights were spinning everywhere. That one girl singing was really intense, and it was amazing. And we see on the next page, Midoriya starts breaking down and just wiping his eyes off, and he says, "I'm so glad you liked it." And we cut away back to Yama and Mineta, and Mineta's just screaming at Midoriya, just saying, "Yeah, well, don't be glad if we're late. Help out, slacker." And Midoriya continues, "Oh, sorry, I'm helping." And we cut to Aoyama just doing his usual thing. Shiver. I can't really tell. Carry these as well. And we cut back to the rest of UA just cleaning up, and we see the crowd coming by. Yo, Class A, that was second crazy fun. Wow, thanks a lot. And Bucka's just looking at it. And we see two people coming by, and I think the crowd is still talking. Yeah, it's great that it was so fun, and we've seen those two just passing by, and then on the next page we see them and they're shouting, "Okay, sorry, okay? We were just hoping you fail." And Chargeball and Bakugo's just having a bit of a conversation. And Chargeball says, "They really didn't have to tell us that." And Bakugo's just being happy and just saying in his head, "Flawless victory." Okay, and we have Red Riot continue, and he's with Ida. They must have been stressed out. They must have been stressed out, just like Sensei mentioned. That means your plan worked like a charm, Ida, and Ida agrees, saying, "Indeed. However, we only we only got through to them because they came to watch. If only we could do something for those who couldn't be in our audience," and we see more of the people. "Don't sweat it. We heard what you were trying to accomplish with all this. We got the message loud and clear." And we see on the next page, "We'll do our best to help others have a good time too. This will this this'll be our way of paying your message forward." We see the rest of Class 1A and Pinky saying, "Pretty great, huh?" And Ida continues, "Thank you for your support," just bowing. And I think Bakugo speaks. "That isn't satisfying. Let's find whoever didn't watch and drag him out there. Just call out, seriously." And we cut back to Mineta still carrying the bucket of ice. "Get back to work. We gotta finish cleaning up this dumb ice." And Red Riot continues, okay, sorry. What's eating you, Mineta?" And Mineta keeps shouting, If we don't hurry, we won't get seats at the beauty pageant. Of course, he's talking about his grape balls. Even his great ball hair needs a bit of squeaking sometimes. And we cut away to the beauty pageant on the next page. Kendo. What a breath of fresh air, and we see Kendo just chopping down through wood. Hiya! With her lovely dress torn to shreds by a martial arts demo, her fantastic performance combines strength and beauty. And we see the other woman that with the freakish long eyebrows, and she continues, "How dull! Doesn't. This girl understands nothing, and she'll never measure up to me." And we see on the next page, by God, see this, and when she's riding on a giant mobile tank of her face that would send nightmares through children and winning beds. My splendious gorgeousness is the pinnacle of beauty. And from the third year support course, it's the pageant queen herself. She's combining her technical skills with her own beautiful face, making a stunning performance. What is this show? And Eri butts in. What is this show about again? And Maximilian continues. I was following a second ago, but now I'm lost while seeing a giant, colossal whatever. This abomination. And we see. And we see on the next panel, we see our. Oh, so favorite one class B Deckle. Moneybags. And he's just. Ho ho. Well done, third year. And he's just freaking out at that giant, colossal thing. I share his pain. And Red Riot, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He who's friends with has the conversation. Hey, I heard you play went over great. Congratulations to you guys as well. And we see Togata in just a simple dress, and one random person saying Nejuri. Come on, Hardo. Just remember, the people in the audience are nothing but mammals. You'll be fine. And she's just floating in the air suddenly. I lost last year because I tried to match Kinrenziki's flashiness. That's Kinrez, Kinrenziki's specialty. But I have got other things going for me, and she's just like in beautiful artwork. She's floating in the air, and Uraka, Tetsu, to, Toga, to, Toga, Toga, Togtada. Sorry, or Maximilian or something. I can't remember his hero name. Everyone looks so shocked. And one of the other three, just the big three, just continues speaking. With that look, now that's the Hondo we know. She's like a pure innocent fairy. Weird. And we cut to the next page and we see Hondo landing to the ground, and the audience reacts. A dreamy dance through the sky. She won the crowd's heart. Next up is. And we cut a few minutes later. Submit your votes now. Results will be announced at 5 at the final event. Kendo from Class B makes sure she gets all the votes. Who should we vote for? And we see in the next panel, we see all of Class 1A doing their conversation. And Uraka speaks, creepers, please. And we see, I think Red Ryan speaks this next part. There's some athletic event. Who wants to compete? And we see Earphone Jack speaking. Count me out. And Pinky says, I'm in. And Chargeball continues, Class C's haunted labyrinth sounds wild. Let's go. And we see Mineta right off the panel, and he's just speaking four little words. I'm pumped for tonight. You know what he's saying. Okay, we all know what you're thinking of by I'm pumped for tonight. Really? After seeing a beauty passion, a beauty passion, pen, pen. Sorry, I can't seem to say beauty pageant for some reason. And the rest on the page is just random artwork. For the next two pages, like for the bottom half of this page and on the top half of the next page, it's just art, just doing random stuff like everybody. And there's like photographs and haunted houses and all that. And we see on the next page as well, crowned that Mona won the pageant. And we continue, like at the end of the day, and we see Eri outside the UA gate, and Midoriya speaks. Thanks for coming today. We had fun, right? And Eri says, yeah. And Midoriya continues, Eri, look. And he passes the next page, and he gives Eri a caramel apple. And he says, surprise. And but Maximilian just shocked by this. A candy apple? Someone was selling them. I looked everywhere. And Eri goes back to the flashback to what candy apples are, and she's like, candy apple. Doing her best Homer impersonation. And we continue with Midoriya speaking. I didn't look like it didn't look like there'd be any based on the program, so I picked up the ingredients when I went shopping. They're easier to make than I thought. The convenience store didn't have red food dye, but Sato lent me some. And Aizawa's right behind Eri, and he speaks. You'll be able to see them again soon, I expect. And Eri takes a bite of an apple, bites into it, and she says, heh, extra sweet. And on the next page, Aizawa, Eri, and Maximilian just goes off. And I think Maximilian's speaking, and he's saying, I can always make more, so look forward to it. That's Midoriya speaking. And after all that, just waving goodbye, and just saying, and he just looks at his hand and everything seems to be going back to normal. But after a big flush of air into the sky, we cut away to an undisclosed location, and we get into a bit of a conversation with someone with a computer, and they're having a bit of an interview. You taught yourself to do all this. Yes. Incredible. And we find out what's been going on. It's the police just talking to La Brava. And La Brava's just talking about what's been going on between La Brava and Gentle. So this is their aftermath and what La Brava and Gentle are doing at the moment, at this time. So the police officer continues, what do you do for a living? And La Brava interrupts, I'm La Brava. And you never wanted to use your talents to do good in the world? Never. And we cut to the next page, and La Brava continues, all I ever wanted was to help Gentle. And speaking of which, we cut we also, in the next panel of the page, we cut back to where Gentle is having his interview, and he's getting a good talk with another officer, and he talks, and the officer speaks. There's a simple test to tell if she's really brainwashed or not, so that I idiotic lie won't fly here. She's actually just been with you, yeah? And before I continue, I will bring up, yeah, she's a legal age, so she is, I think, if I recall, around 20? Hold on. In the volume, it does bring up her Labrava's age, and people when people when going through this arc, they were asking questions like, is Labrava underaged to have a relationship with with Gentle, or is this kind of a sticky L? No, it's on the previous funnel. I know that it. No, I think it's on volume 19, as I recall. They do bring it up, like, yeah, she's legal age, so can and like a lot of people explain like the flashback, and they did their best mathematical possibilities of trying to make sure that yeah, she's legal age. It's and people are just saying she looks too young. It's just how she's drawn as a short person. And people discuss this. I've heard the discussions, and yes, Labrava is in fact is in the legal age at with the with the best possibilities with the whole high school system, the school system with Japan's high school system, and um and with the best scenarios and the worst case scenarios. Technically, yes, Labrava would still be considered legal and in the age of 18, or she's long past age 18. I think the so yeah so if people comment, oh, Labrava's too young, look, have a look for yourself. Try for your try your best. There's not going to be much holes for you to punch into. And we continue with the interview. I just wanted to end that stupid tangent before I forget again. And we still get the conversation between Gentle and the officer, who's a giant gorilla. And Gorilla Man speaks. Sure, plenty of your crimes were only attempted crimes, but the sheer number tells us she was in on it. And Gentle argues. Alba, probably Labrava never Labrava never took part directly. My capital offenses are not hers. And Gorilla Man just continues. So you love her too. Yeesh. High school dropout, huh? Formerly in a hero course. But you went astray and started committing crimes on videos. And Gentle continues. I recall the dream what I recall the dream I once held. It frightened me, and I dashed forth headlong. Down the wrong path, perhaps. And Gorilla Man continues, well, good thing you gave it up today. The only people say they can't the only people who say they can't turn their lives around are the ones with no real desire to change. They're too impatient. They want results right away. And Gorilla Man just speaks. Anyway, want some tea? And we cut back to the sky, and I think the Gentle just answers that question. He says, fine, fine. Black tea if you would. And the Gorilla Man just corrects him in an angry text box. We only got plain old tea. Yeah, Gentle's going to be starting having to drink normal tea like everybody else. And that's it. That's the end of chapter 183, and and moving on to 184, and that's the start of the Gentle arc. And I know we're having a bit of a Gentle storyline right now in current times, but if we continue with the Gentle storyline, we have to talk about a lot of things that went on with the Endeavor storyline. And the Endeavor storyline explains Endeavor, the stuff with Endeavor being the number one hero, and our first introduction to Hawks. And Hawks makes his first appearance in 184. Yeah, 184. This is Hawks' introduction into the story and the stuff that goes on with the bits and pieces of what we already know that was going on in between during the My Villain arc or the Meta Liberation arc or whatever Horikoshi decides to call it. So that's the end of the UA, and yeah, I would love to see Gentle again. Hopefully he comes back into the story in a bigger that he that I do like Gentle, and Gentle is kind of a sympathetic character, and I would love to see Gentle coming back into the story doing hero work, but most likely we probably never get to see him again. But you know Horikoshi, and yeah, right now, currently, that the fight with Midoriya and Gentle was basically his Midoriya's toughest challenge so far. And we see that fight will simply be blown away from later parts of what's happening in the later stuff up till now, right now we're in. So yeah, so that was 182 and 183 done, and that's the end of the UA Culture Festival. I hope you all enjoyed all these chapters, reading through the chapters. And we're doing it on volume 20. And if we do get another break, maybe I'll do the Endeavor storyline, or maybe doing one of the side story chapters this way. I do have the Vigilantes first volume, but I haven't decided if I'm going to read it on video yet. That's for you guys to decide when the next break comes up. So until then, I would love to see you all, and hopefully I'll see you next week when we cut back to the big plot, the main story of what's going on right now. So until then, I hope you all had a good day, and I know 2 chapters isn't fair. Maybe I can try to make it up to you guys maybe either tomorrow or Saturday. Or maybe I won't do it. I got an idea, but I'll see you guys next week. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. And this is Josh24214, and see you next time. Bye for now.